My last couple of videos have been outside riding videos, and that's because of two reasons. Firstly, there is no snow on the ground, so ride bikes while you can. And secondly, because I have slowly been dialing in what I think might be the best bike vlogging, bike YouTubing setup I've tried. As a professional bike YouTuber, first off, that sounds really strange to say, but it's the truth. I do this full time. I use an array of tools, and I'm constantly looking for ways to make my job easier so I can make more videos, more interesting content for you guys. Over the years, I've tried many action cameras, from GoPros to Insta360s to the old Sony Action Cam. Today, in 2021 and early 2022, I think the best camera for bike vlogging is the brand new GoPro Hero 10 with a few mods. Full disclaimer, I purchased everything at full price in this video, not sponsored by GoPro. In fact, I have a history of making fun of GoPro because their cameras are so dang buggy. But they have turned the ship around with the GoPro Hero 10. Here it is and how I usually take it out with me on a bike, and I'm going to talk about the individual components. The first part is this foam windscreen. One of the downsides of GoPro still is that it doesn't have the best audio, especially when things get windy and you're riding on a bike. It just gets that really low rumbly wind noise and cuts in and out, and you can't hear very clearly. In the past few months, I have tried different ways to protect the microphones from the wind. I tried many wind muff protectors that you would glue on the body, but I found that after like 2 or 3 days, they would just peel off and I'd have to re-glue it. And I tested that against this thing. I believe this is called the Windslayer. I'll put the link in the description below. I think the wind muffs sound like maybe 2 or 3% better in wind than this thing, but this is way more convenient. I'm usually stuffing the GoPro in pockets and bags, and this Windslayer just stays on. No sticky things to peel up and then have to reapply later. So sound-wise, I highly recommend this. If you're curious as to what it sounds like, here are a few clips of me riding with this configuration, holding it about arm's length away. Hey there everybody, it's Russ, and surprise ride outside. We're actually getting an unseasonably warm week here in Missoula, Montana. Usually this time of year, there's probably snow on the ground. It's already regularly in the 30s and 20s. If there is a downside to this thing, is to get to the battery and insert in your computer to download the footage, you do have to kind of wiggle the GoPro out of this. So if I were you, I'd buy two just in case you accidentally tear this one. Another very small but essential mod in my experience with the new GoPros is to replace the fingers with this one. So you can see in the middle there is a 1/4-20. So you can directly mount this to other camera products, tripods, magic arms, all that stuff. But it still flips down so you have fingers you can attach the GoPro to, GoPro mounts. All right, I got the chesty on for this next part. Speaking of mounts, one of the biggest game changers for me this year is this thing called the snap mount. And what it is this plate that you attach to your GoPro. These 4 corners are magnets, and they mount to other matching plates that you can put on other GoPro mounting accessories. So for example, this is the GoPro Handlebar mount. It has another magnetic receiving plate, and what you do is you just, let's say you're riding, you can snap it along like that. So the way I usually use this is that it's flat on my handlebar. I don't actually use the GoPro to film when it's attached directly to the handlebar, just because all those vibrations really transmit up to the GoPro and the footage looks like potato. The way I do use this is as a way to hold the GoPro. So let's say I'm riding and then I want to do a little piece of camera. I can just reach at the mount, peel it off, turn it on the GoPro, do a little filming, and snap it back on. One thing to know about the snap mount is that these magnets are stupid strong. You definitely do not want your fingers in the way when they snap together because it hurts. So give yourself a lot of clearance and let it snap on like that. Another way that I use this system a lot is with riding POV footage. So same scenario, you know, I'm riding a bike, I need some POV footage. I like the chesty the best because your body acts as suspension. Combined with the GoPro stabilization, it makes actually fairly good POV riding footage. Not the best, not as good as say a 360 cam, but pretty dang good. And once again, let's say I'm riding and all of a sudden I want to say something witty to the camera, I just peel it off the chesty, do the piece of camera, and then quickly snap it back on and I'm riding again. The snap mount system does come with this neck lanyard. The idea with this is that you would wear this around your neck, you know, maybe under a shirt, and over the shirt you'd connect the GoPro and it would kind of hold it in place. I like this in theory, but depending on how loose or tight your shirt is, that's going to determine how stable the camera angle is. I know what you're thinking, Russ, this is the most amazing GoPro accessory ever. Take my money. Well, before you hit that buy button in the description link below, there are a couple downsides which you must be aware of. First off, the mounts, while plastic, they do add a lot of mass and weight to the GoPro. Riding on the chesty, it takes a fair amount of torque to keep the mount from flopping up and down. So for extreme mountain biking, this probably wouldn't be the best solution, just because I don't think these screws will hold it down tight enough. But just be aware, if you try to use this with a chesty, you're gonna probably have to tighten down the straps a fair bit more, just to keep the camera from bouncing around. Probably the biggest downside, at least for me, is this. My snap mount actually snapped. I don't think this is what they had in mind when they were naming it the snap mount. That is something to be aware of. They're not quite as robust as I would want them to be. This happened probably 2.5 weeks in use. You know, I didn't crash, I didn't throw the GoPro against a wall. It was fairly, you know, kind of chill riding. So this tells me the plastic isn't that great. Fortunately, everything does still seem to work, although when I peel this off of one of the strong magnetic mounts, I have to be really careful to grab it in such a way so as not to add more stress and crack this other side. I think what I'm going to do is super glue it, maybe reinforce it with some Sugru or something else. Really, those are the two downsides. This one I think is a fairly significant one. So you definitely want to practice some care and not manhandle it when you're using the snap mount. I think the snap mount combined with the brand new GoPro Hero 10 is an awesome combination. The Hero 10 is probably the most stable GoPro I've used since the Hero 4. The menus are responsive. It hasn't locked up on me once, which is just amazing for a GoPro. And the sound is actually not too bad. It's so good, in fact, that I just bought a second GoPro, so I can always have two in case this one goes bad, or I can hand one to Laura and she can film me and I can film her and we can make content, all that good stuff. So right now, GoPro Hero 10 is my go-to action camera when I go out and film the videos for the YouTube channel. It definitely needs some help in the audio department, and that's where this foam Windjammer Windslayer thing comes into place. And actually there is one more thing I want to show you guys. Okay, so here's another pro tip. Let's say you want a GoPro for those piece to camera shots, but you don't want to wear a chesty, you don't want to use a snap mount. Where else can you place the GoPro so it's easily accessible? One of my favorite kinds of bags to combine with the GoPro is a top tube bag, and specifically one with a magnetic closure. This is the Mag Tank by Revelate. Again, you can see very easy to open, one finger opening. It finds itself closed. So sometimes I will film myself, then quickly ditch the camera there and throw that over, and it protects the GoPro. And then I have to film again, lift this up, do more filming, drop it back in, flip it, and bam. Top tube bag, an awesome place to put an action cam. Doesn't have to be a GoPro, but whatever camera you're going to use to make bike YouTube videos so you can be moderately successful. Please consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon, where we get access to lots of cool perks and giveaways, or check out our merch store, buy some stem cap stickers, all that cool bike nerdy stuff, and as always, keep the supple side down.